Hi, Weather Joey here with your bottom of the South Island weather recap and weather forecast for Sunday, February 5th, 2022, coming to you from the bottom of the South Island in lovely Victoria, BC. Still quite wintry, a little bit of the February doldrums right now. It's kind of gray, kind of blue out there, trying to keep my spirits up, but it's just cold and wet. At least it's not minus 20 like back east. So coming out to you guys in the future, a little bit of weather knowledge from the past. Hopefully you're interested, but hopefully you can gain something from this. Have a little insight into our world and what's going on here. Anyway, before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity, as always, to thank and acknowledge the first peoples of this land, from North Saanich out to Sooke and beyond across Turtle Island. Them and their ancestors have been here since time immemorial. I don't know how to say that word. Since the beginning of time. We acknowledge that and thank them for allowing us to live, work, and play on their beautiful traditional territories. Haichka. We will continue to try to honor this and their people. Okay, let's get started. So last forecast started a little bit differently from what we thought. Not too differently, but we did see something we thought may happen, but thought maybe not. Anyway, we had that high pressure. Remember we talked about this. This was at the end of January. This northerly flow for last Saturday and Sunday. It's really kicked in with Arctic outflows on Saturday, clearing things out for Sunday. Very dry on that Sunday. No frost. Dry, cool. Temperatures were cooling. Strong northerly outflows. As we got into Monday and Tuesday, I think that was the 30th and 31st, we saw this high pressure collapse and slowly moisture started coming around the top. Now that for Monday morning, that brought still very cold temperatures, but enough moisture to bring a fairly heavy frost on that Monday the 30th morning, yes. Now, as this collapsed even further, we saw enough moisture come around the top excuse me, for a weak front coming through later in the day on Monday. Now that brought snow overnight into Tuesday. So a lot of the South Coast saw a mix of snow and rain throughout that Tuesday, the 31st. And that little stint of cold weather allowed average January temperatures to drop a little bit below the number 6 average. So still a warm January overall, but the last 3 days brought the temperatures averages down. But we did see some snow. Now that didn't last long as we got into the 1st of February, because as this high pressure dropped away, we got into a new sort of setup. This high pressure dropped, ended up kind of sitting down over the US West Coast. Meanwhile, low pressure came into the Gulf of Alaska, and we saw a new paradigm flow starting to come up from the southwest for the second. It really started into the second, just mainly cloudy there. Let's see, that was the second, the third. Let me just double check here. Strong cutoff low on the second, yeah. So yeah, the second was just kind of a, first was a Wednesday. And that saw things, let me get mixed up here. Quickly melted away on the first as temperatures rose under a new pattern shaping up. Yes, low pressure, just like I talked about. New southwesterly pattern. Now, as we got into the second, we had this low pressure. We saw a cutoff low form over here, and that really overnight, I think it was overnight into the second and into the third, here. A strong cutoff low developed off the U.S. West Coast, bringing strong wind and rain overnight to Northern California and into the third. Now for us, yes, into the third. So overnight Wednesday on overnight Wednesday on the second, the third. I was getting this all confused. Overnight Thursday on the second. This starts bringing up wind and rain here. starts moving up the coast, and by the 3rd on Friday, we saw, and overnight into the 3rd, we saw this low going past the island up here, bringing a fair amount of wind and cloud, and not as much rain as we had thought on that Friday the 3rd. But continuing up past here, and this southerly flow continued over on into Saturday, as low pressure off the coast here, kind of troughing over here, slowly moved towards the coast, and we saw a gray, cloudy day yesterday, a few little showers here and there, not much, and this is crossing the coast right now into Sunday morning here. So we're Sunday morning right now. It's just sort of crossing still with some showers, and it's going to mark the start of a new flow that we talked about in our last forecast. More of a westerly flow. So this is going to be more of a seasonal kind of westerly flow we get into this week. And as this trough crosses today, we're going to see a little ridge of high pressure build in, probably some strong winds down the Juan de Fuca later today. That's just going to move across overnight tonight, and in behind we're going to see this westerly flow. Now we're going to see little low pressure trough systems come through, but a cooler sort of westerly flow with plenty of, we'll see some wind, plenty of rain for the coast for Monday and Tuesday, which is the 6th and 7th. Excuse me, and lots of snow for up in the hills in this flow. So that's the first couple of systems, Monday and Tuesday. Little ridge of nice, calm, high pressure, dry for Wednesday. Brief little visit on Wednesday of that nicer weather. And then we see the next system come in. Yes, continuing from the west. Boy, so that's the 5th, 6th, 7th westerly flow, break on Wednesday before another system moves into the offshore waters, bringing more cloud and wet weather, stormy weather for Thursday the 9th and Friday the 10th. So more of a system here. It's going to come in from the west-southwest, but still fairly cool because the system just develops here. It's not coming from below up here. But for Thursday and Friday, it looks like a fair amount of wind, stormy weather, rain. Nothing too bad, but plenty more snow for the hills. Into Saturday, it looks like this will start to kind of dry out a little bit. And it looks like we may see another low kind of come in for Saturday, Sunday. Maybe even something early into next week or late of the weekend. A little bit of snow towards ground level as the system kind of comes around from here. Then it looks like we might get into some cold weather for next week, deeper into next week. Anyway, there's a lot of weather happening, so I lose track. It's like keeping track a week behind and a week forward. But the gist of it is still lots of winter weather, more rain coming, so we need to build up those snow packs for the spring, so that's good news. And I'll just deal with my kind of February doldrums. That's my deal. So do the best I can there, and sending out love to you in the future and love to you around here. And as always, may the forecast be with you.